Let's talk about something that really grabbed me, really struck me, was Dez Bryant and his interview. Dez Bryant gave an interview on the pivot. And in this interview, dog, he went there in terms of some of the things that triggers him and some of the things he's trying to break in terms of generational curses. Check out this sound.
Let me read something. It's been on my phone for since I met y'all. It's probably like 6 years. It say, break generational curses. Quit yelling at your kids before they go to bed and expect them to sleep well. Quit yelling at your kids in the morning right after they wake up before school and expect them to have a good day. You set the tone for your children. You set the tone for you set the tone for your voice that they will always remember in their heads. You become the inner voice. Don't be the inner critic. Speak life, speak love, speak bravery, kindness and hope. Speak wisdom and truth. Most of all, listen to your children. I never had none of that. I get that to mine. And that's my number one priority. I follow that. That's how I break it. And, so when I do it, I live it. I live it.
Lord. Here we go. Let's talk. So much of your identity you think is your own choice, your own volition, right? Like I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a football player. Whatever you want to do. We all want to own our own identity, even though we know it's really a formation of a lot of other variables and things, right? Your parenting, your environment, your peer group, etc. All these things contributed for you to become who you are. But you also have a nature that was not influenced by your nurture. Okay, I'll give you that. But what about this conversation right here? Because Dez Bryant took me there. In sociology, they talk about a thing called definition of others. All right, so you get defined, you think, by your own pure definition. Oh, this is what I intend to be. This is who I am. But you also get defined what others are and what you are not. It's called definition of others. So, who am I? I guess I'm a nice guy. I'm a nerd around mean guys who aren't that smart and don't care about school. You get it? Who am I? I'm tall around a lot of short people, right? And then you all of a sudden get a generalization, which is you're just generally assumed to be. A lot of people that I grew up with, if they don't come home with you, they generally just think everything at home was hokey-dory because you turned out hokey-dory. And I'm like, nah, dog. Some of the stuff that I went through is why I'm this way, hokey-dory. A lot of my positivity actually comes from my negative upbringing, like the negative parts, not in general, specifically. Specifically what Dez Bryant was talking about. I used to hate when my mom especially would just yell at me. And I was like, wait a minute, why are you yelling? I hear what you're saying. And you don't get my attention by yelling. You actually are making me tune you out. The volume's getting lower because you keep yelling. I'm in here trying to parse these words. I'm in here trying to get these lessons and learn from you, mama. But you keep yelling at me. And as now I say, I didn't say at the time, the louder you are, the less you're saying, right? And it just felt that way. People always, then you start walking around, and it's crazy because you go to school and all your homegirls, and then you go to the store and all the people there, and you walk down the street and you see people yelling. You ain't got a lot of respect for them. Then you go home and then you getting yelled at. And I used to get yelled at for nothing. I'm talking about nothing. But it was something to my mom. One, she was trying to keep her son from being like her brothers. 2 of them murdered. 1 of them committed suicide. So she thought she had to be the ultimate, like the hyper disciplinarian, like next level uber disciplinarian. And I was like, Mama, I ain't that bad a kid. I just like to play with a little fire here. That's it. A little pyro. Every now and then I'll steal a t-shirt or the Snickers. But other than that, Mom, I'm a good little boy. I ain't tripping. I ain't ditch. I didn't ditch one day of school ever. Ever. I thought that was the dumbest thing ever. And my friends used to laugh at me and get mad at me because I wouldn't go with them. I was like, dog, you a punk. I was like, yeah, all right. Well, I'm not going to an empty mall, fool. You go to the empty mall and just walk around and say, yeah, I'm cool because I'm missing school and I ain't got no money to buy anything, but this mall is empty and this is fresh. I was like, man, you stupid. And they used to laugh and try to clown me. My mom didn't have to worry like she did, but it turned me into this. But I remember those nights like Dez Bryant talking about, those nights where you're just like, oh, you know, mama, be quiet, I'm trying to sleep. Or mama, I ain't do it. Why are you yelling at me? But she was trying to keep me from something, and she was dealing with her own issues, right? Being told at 17 and 19 that you ain't gonna be shit because you got 2 kids. So she tried to drink her way through some of this stuff. She tried to make sure that I did everything perfectly, and I used to hate it. Oh, y'all understand, me and my mama used to talk to each other, and I never got out of line because 1, my mama was 6'1", 250, but 2, she was my mama. I never disrespected her, but I would challenge her. I'd be like, mama, if I can say a word, please, ma'am, like looking up like this, I don't think that was right. And my mom, whoa. Meanwhile, my dad just sitting there like, man, I ain't getting into that. I already got to deal with her. I ain't dealing with your problems and my problems with her. I'm good. So when Dez said that, it just took me to where I am right now, and it takes me to where I've been for a while. Like, I didn't have that, so I have to give that, right? Because golly, I was sitting there like a little itty bitty, like, damn, just get what I'm saying, mama, it ain't that hard. But now I'm a little scared because my kids, my 3-year-old especially, she's daring. She don't even listen to me half the time. She like, now she's a good girl, thank God, so we're doing it the right way. She's pulling in the same direction, but it ain't because me leading. She just don't care. She's just gangster. I was like, whoa, this little girl, stubborn to a fault. The other one's fine, but I don't spank. So I'm like, damn, I don't yell. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, is this gonna come back to haunt me? So I got a little bit of like anxiety and fear, like all this listen and let's go into it emotionally and be empathetic and understand and meet them where they are. Like sometimes I'm thinking doing it by the book might end up coming back to haunt me. You ever feel that same way? So I'm like, damn. I'm like, sometimes I do need to get out of line, like my mama just kick him. You can't kick a kid now. I got kicked. Turned out all right. You know what I'm saying? Just whop him with a whip. I got whipped. Can't whip a kid now, right? And the craziest thing is the kids are on such alert. I think the positive of it is because I don't yell, because I am empathetic, because I am there for them. They look for me to be there in all situations, physically, emotionally. My son messes up anywhere. His first look is, and it's like, Daddy, am I okay? And I'm like, yep. We got little signals we do. He at the assembly, he nervous. We got all kind of little things people don't understand. We got our own little code, little Morse code, little Marcellus code over here, letting people know. So when Dez went there, and he went there emotionally, I was like, that just triggered me because I was an itty bitty wanting way different. But who am I to say? In my predicament, in my circumstances, if it were different, that I would be the same. So y'all tell me what y'all went through. Beat it up. Tell me what you think about what Dez Bryant said. I thought that was real heartfelt and emotional right there. And you can tell Dez, I mean, look, from afar, and when him and his mama got into it, I was like, oh, that's dysfunction to the fullest. So I'm not saying I went through that. I don't know what he went through, but I assume it was worse than what I went through. You said my mama was way bigger than he. So when she put them paws on me, boy, it was a whole different animal. Tell me what you guys think about the whole situation and how do you raise your kids? Y'all still out there spanking? Y'all out there listening? How do you keep the discipline that you need without being ultimately that enforcer like we all know we had in our generation?